Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm truly excited to bring this to you. A lot has happened over the last several weeks, not only in the NFL, but the collegiate level. So we're going to go over it all today. If you're new to the channel, guys, like and subscribe if you're new. Hit the notification bell button for more info. But welcome back to the episode of AU Guys, a podcast. The podcast created for and made for by the average Joe. I'm your host, Charles Jackson. Episode 6 of season 3. You see the title. A lot is going on. We're talking about NFL playoffs. The season came to an end this past weekend. We have a lot of coaching changes, both not only head coaches, but front office roles been changed. Even some coordinators got fired. We're going to go over all firings and all coaching moves done from November to now. And then some sad news in college football. We'll go over that in a few. But let's go hop right into the coaching carousel. We'll talk about that first. A lot has changed since November 1st when the first ball was dropped when the Raiders fired head coach Josh McDaniels and GM Dave Ziger. But since the season ended this past Sunday, we've seen a lot of moves been happening in the NFL. Let's go over a couple of them, especially the ones that happened this past weekend. The first one, Arthur Smith of the Atlanta Falcons was let go. During his 3-year tenure with the Falcons, he went 21-30. In his first year with the Falcons, he went 7-10. Second year, 7-10. And then just this past season, 7-10. Arthur Smith, not a bad coach, but once again, we have an inconsistency at the quarterback position. It's really hard for you to be successful. You had Marcus Mariota last year after Matt Ryan left to go to the Colts. Then you have this year, literally Marcus Mariota 2.0. And Desmond Ridder. Desmond Ridder's not bad, but he doesn't fit the Falcons system. You also had Taylor Heinicke, who I thought at the beginning of the year, a lot of NFL fans thought at the beginning of the year that he was going to be the starter. But if you look at the Falcons as a whole, they have a lot of talent. You have Drake London, who's a bona fide number 1 wide receiver. Kyle Pitts needs to get up out of Atlanta. He does not fit the team or the future plans for the Falcons. Bijan Robinson is going to be a future 1,000-yard rusher in this league. And then you got some talent in defense. You got truly one of the most underrated corners in the NFL, in AJ Terrell. Pretty much could shut down really any receiver he guards. He's proved it so far in his young career. Then you have Grady Jarrett, that defensive line, who's still an anchor, even at his older age. You picked up Jesse Bates in free agency this past year. So the Falcons got players, but they need the right coach to lead them to the promised land. And hopefully they'll find it coming up. But Arthur Smith, definitely disappointed. He dropped the ball too many times. He underused his talent that was there. He had no consistency at quarterback, no consistency in pass catchers up until this past season. And you're not utilizing your players to the best ability. Bijan Robinson should have been better than what he was this year. Kyle Pitts has been underutilized since he's been drafted 2 years ago. Drake London really the only been consistent pass catcher on that Falcons offense this year. They got to add another pass catcher to complement Drake London's skill set. And please, for the love of God, give Kyle Pitts some targets. He wasn't the highest drafted tight end of all time for a reason. The man can play the slot. He can go up and go get it. All you need to work on now is being a better run blocker and pass blocker. But that can be developed over time. Give him a coach that can help Kyle Pitts and those young guys be successful, and the Falcons can be a dangerous team. In my opinion, I would love to see Justin Fields play quarterback for them next year because based off the offense we see for the Falcons, they're a real run-heavy type schematic team. You have 3 great running backs in Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, and Cordell Patterson. Even though he's older, he's still usable, especially in special teams and catching the football at the backfield. He was a former Pro Bowler for a reason. So the Falcons, if the Falcons get an upgraded quarterback, get a better leader in the locker room that can really use a lot of these young guys to the best of their ability, the Falcons can be a scary team in the NFC South next year. Next coach I want to talk about that I didn't expect to get fired, but it's been a tough back-to-back years for the Titans, It's Mike Vrabel. Sorry, not Mike Norvell, but Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel went 54-45. His 6 years there as the Titans coach. In his first year, he went 9-7. Year 2, he went 9-7. Went to the AFC title game, losing to the Chiefs. 2020, he went 11-5. 2021, he went 12-5. Lost in the divisional round as the top seed. With 7-10 in 2022, and this past year with 6-11. Mike Vrabel's problem was he don't have, once again, kind of the same situation as the Falcons. They don't have no consistency at quarterback. You picked up Ryan Tannehill after you took over for Marcus Mariota back in 2018. He showed signs of possibly the franchise guy. But like I said time and time again, Ryan Tannehill is an overpaid backup quarterback. He has not shown signs since that AFC Championship run. But if you look at the AFC Championship run, that was spearheaded by Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry was the reason why they got to the AFC Championship game in 2020. But if you get an upgraded quarterback, I think Will Levis is probably the best thing they got right now at the quarterback position. I really feel like Malik Willis is not the guy. They have not really relied on Malik Willis at all. So I think Malik Willis' days as a Titan will be over with. Ryan Tannehill days as a Titan is probably over with. Derrick Henry's days as a Titan is probably over with. Because he actually almost got traded during. He's probably going to be out younger, so I think he's there for a multi-year deal. He might be there in 1 year. I don't know the ins and outs. You're a Titans fan. Let me know how long D-Hop has left on his contract with the Titans. But the Titans are getting old. You have some young pieces. You still got Jeffrey Simmons, who's a stud on the defensive side. Harold Landry, still a good defensive player. But that's pretty much it. You have no legit pass catchers. Traylon Burks' experience was a complete bust. Outside of D-Hop, you have no legit wide receivers. What the Titans need to do this offseason, go out there, build around Will Levis. If Will Levis is your guy, you go and build around him. Get him some quality pass catchers. This receiving draft this year is probably the deepest it has been. What's going on, Seaweed? Welcome to the show. Keyshawn, I don't know about the Eagles winning all, though. They got a tough match against Tampa Bay. We'll talk about the playoffs in a little bit. But if you look at the Titan situation, they have no pass catchers. They have no stability at quarterback. Maybe Will Levis is the guy. We'll hopefully see. And if Will Levis is your guy, you let Mike Tannehill go, whether you trade him or let him walk. You cut ties with Malik Willis. Malik Willis is definitely not a starter in this NFL game. And you build pieces around Will Levis so he can be successful. Will Levis have shown his debut game against the Falcons. He threw for 4 touchdowns, 300 yards. Will Levis has talent to be an NFL quarterback, but you got to build around him. The Titans have not had a quality pass catcher since they let A.J. Brown walk to the Eagles. Traylon Burks ain't been in. Robert Woods is not. Robert Woods wasn't in when he was there. He's now in Houston. D-Hop is the only receiver you had since A.J. Brown left. Traylon Burks ain't it. Robert Woods wasn't it. Corey Davis wasn't really it. He's not even in the league no more. So you have to build. It's a lot of receivers. You got Keon Coleman coming out this year. Malik Neighbors coming out this year. Roma Duze from Washington coming out this year. Marvin Harrison coming out this year. You got Jalen McMillan, Jalen Polk. You got Johnny Wilson. You have Ricky Pearsall from Florida. You got a lot of good quality pass catchers that could possibly be game changers in the NFL. But you got to build around Will Levis. Hopefully, he's the guy for the next coach coming in. But in my opinion, Derrick Henry's done as a Titan. He's probably going to play for a contender for a bare minimum. He's probably going to go to route with Dalvin Cook. They're going to play for a contender. In my opinion, Derrick Henry is definitely a bona fide Hall of Famer. He has nothing else to prove in the NFL. Now, at this point in his career, especially almost at 30 years old, when you hit 30, running backs starting to lose their wheels. He needs to worry about ring hunting for Super Bowls. Because right now, if you look at his resume, in my opinion, without Super Bowl, he's a Hall of Famer. But if you get a ring, he's definitely a lock for the Hall of Fame. So Derrick Henry would definitely be out as a Titans player. There's no way I don't think Derrick Henry comes back to Tennessee next season. But next coach I'm going to talk about, Ron Rivera, Riverboat Ron. 4 years with the Commanders, a disappointing 26-40-1. In his first year with the Commanders in 2020, after leaving Carolina, he went 7-9. Made the playoffs in 2020 as a divisional champion of the NFC East. Lost to Tom Brady in the Bucks in a tough game. I remember watching that game. 2021 they went 7-10. 2022 they went 8-1, and then this past year disappointed 4-13. My problem with this, you let go Jack Del Rio back in November as your defensive coordinator, and the team has got even worse on defense. In my opinion, you drafted him first overall. Why would you trade him to already a loaded defense in the 49ers? That means you never thought that Chase Young was in your future plans. So you send Chase Young to a loaded defense in San Fran. You don't have no quality pass catchers outside of Scary Terry, maybe Denzel Mims, and Logan Thomas. You have no legit pass catchers outside of those two guys. Your running back room, let Antonio Gibson slide. You're not using him. He's just sitting up there wasting cap space. Brian Robinson needs to hurry up and get it together and become the 1,000-yard rusher that a lot of people hope to see he be when he got drafted to Washington. And then Sam Howell, unfortunately, after a great start, I think the Commanders was 3-1. They finished the season 1-12 over the last 13 games. He still was a top 10 passer, but once again, those interceptions gotta change. And granted, I don't want to be too hard on Sam Howell because I really like the guy. But when you have an offensive line problem that's not consistently holding the quarterback up to be successful, there's going to be a lot of rush throws, underthrows, or early throws that was supposed to be there, but he had no protection to get the ball off. So a lot of turnovers. I think it was top 5 in interceptions this year. I think he had like 14 or 15 picks. But Ron Rivera was let go after the Cowboys lost, I think in week 17. So Ron Rivera's out as the Commanders head coach. And then we'll go over the rest of the list before we get to the major coaching fire today, which shocked the world. Brandon Staley was fired back in December 18th. He went 24-24. This was long overdue. Brandon Staley got fired after the Jags lost last year in the playoffs. But that 63 points they allowed by the Raiders, who the week before they played the Chargers, they didn't score a touchdown against the Vikings. But the following week, they put up 63 points on the Chargers. He should have got fired at halftime. That game right there, you look at that Chargers-Raiders game, the players gave up on Brandon Staley. I don't think they welcomed him at all. I think you have a team that's loaded with Mike Williams, who needs to get healthy. If Mike Williams can be healthy for a full 18 games, along with Keenan Allen, they could be on pace as probably the best dual wide receiver in the NFL. There's a lot of great duos in the NFL, but you throw a healthy Mike Williams and a healthy Keenan Allen for 18 games, that's scary. And then you have Quentin Johnson, who he drafted last year. You got Josh Palmer at wide receiver. I think you got Everett at tight end. Austin Eckler missed a dude all himself. And you have Jay Herbo. If you get those guys healthy and you have studs on defense, you got Bosa, you got Mack, you got Derwin James, you have studs on defense. If those guys stay healthy and you get a bona fide leader in there that can really work those young guys, same thing with the Falcons. Falcons got great young players, but they don't have a true leader to utilize those guys' full capabilities. So you have, same situation with the Chargers. You get a guy to come in there and really change the program around, make sure those guys are healthy, and they can really ride the shit with a healthy Chargers team, both sides of the football. The Chargers can be a scary team. They really can be. But Brandon Staley wasn't a guy. He claimed he was built for the job. He wasn't built for the job. And that's why he was fired. Frank Reich, unfortunately, he was fired with his first 11 games. He went 1-10. That team just pretty awful. The Panthers, you draft Bryce Young to possibly the future. He won't have a future if you don't build around him. Miles Sanders, completely disappointed. Chuba Hubbard definitely took a step forward as possibly the future back on the team. Adam Thielen's old and washed. Let him go. DJ Chark can't play a full season. He hasn't played a full season in Jacksonville. Mingo was quiet this year. You have no legit pass catchers on the Panthers. This draws again to stay in the same position as the Commanders. They have no legit consistent pass catchers on the team outside of maybe one person. The receiver draft is very rich this year. Go get you a couple of quality pass catchers and build around Bryce Young. For the love of God, give them an offensive line Every time I look up, Bryce Young is on his butt. Bryce Young has no time to throw football. Bryce Young, I don't think Bryce Young threw for more than 300 yards more than one time. I think the one time he did it was against the Packers in a losing effort. But that Packers game, he showed he's a quality starting quarterback in the NFL. But if you don't build around Bryce Young, he's in the same boat as Will Levis. If you don't build around those guys, their career's going to be short. Bryce Young's going to be another statistic of Bama quarterbacks that don't pay it out. Will Levis will be another statistic that Kentucky quarterbacks don't pay it out. A Kentucky quarterback has not paid out since Tim Couch. And that was in the late 90s, early 2000s. Build around these young guys so they can be successful. Josh McDaniels, we all know that train wreck over there in Las Vegas. He went 9-16 in 2 years, was fired on November 1st. Josh McDaniels does not need to be another head coach in the NFL ever. He's elite offensive coordinator, but a horrible, horrible head coach. If you put him on your offense, he will make sure you put points on the board. But if he's overseeing the whole team, that's not his style. He needs to be just a straight offensive coordinator, just a coordinator, no head coaching. He's done. This is the second head coaching job he screwed up. Don't forget he screwed up the Broncos. Excuse me. He screwed the Broncos up, and then he messed up the Raiders. And the Raiders have excellent talent. You have Devontae Adams. You got Josh Jacobs. You got Hunter Renfrow, who was superiorly underused this year after he had a breakout season the year prior. You got Jacoby Myers, who I think is a quality number 2 wide receiver. You got Max Crosby, who's a freak of nature on the defensive side of the football. But you're lacking elite defensive backs. You have no defensive backs at all. The Raiders cannot cover for nothing. The Raiders going to get pressure because of Max Crosby. But do you have anybody in the secondary that could really beat a shutdown? You don't have that. Go get your corner. Go get your quarterback. Because Jimmy G ain't it. And Aiden O'Connell, God bless him, he tried, but he ain't it either. There's a lot of quarterbacks in the draft. You can go get your Bo Nix in the second round. You go get your Jordan Travis, a Jaden Dales, a Michael Penix. Those guys could be quality passers for that offense. Because I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of rumors saying that Devontae Adams and the Jets might be coming together, especially for Aaron Rodgers Devontae reunion. So they have to go to them a quarterback, get him some shutdown quarters, help Max Crosby, that defense, become successful, and then help Devontae Adams stay in the city of sin. Because right now, I hate to say this, he ain't going to be back next year. Because the Jets are coming to call it. They're going to push hard for Devontae Adams. So we'll talk about some other coaches, coordinators that got fired. New York Giants offensive coordinator Wink Martindale was fired this past weekend. Chicago offensive coordinator Luke Getsy was fired. Jags defensive coordinator Mike Caldwell, thank God he's gone. He got fired this past weekend after the Titans lost. Jack Del Rio, we talked about him earlier, was fired as the former defensive coordinator for the Commanders. Pittsburgh has benefited firing Matt Canada because they have not been nowhere near of their old form they was the first 8 games of the year. They definitely turned a new leaf, especially with Mason Rudolph at quarterback. Buffalo definitely got better offensively after Ken Dorsey was fired. Mick Lombardi, I mean the Raiders, they offense was so out of the. You can't even give a word for the Raiders offense. They can be good, they can be bad. They can be good, they can be bad. Without a quarterback, the Raiders offense is bad. You're gonna waste the prime of Devontae Adams, whatever he has left. You're definitely gonna waste the prime of Double J, Josh Jacobs, whatever he has left in the tank. You know, running backs, they don't last long in the NFL. He's still relatively young in running back years. So give him a quarterback where he can be successful. He led the league in rushing. I think he was led the league in rushing touchdowns or rushing yards last year. You see what the keep on doing last season. So, we're going to go to our final coach that was dismissed. And this happened today. Pete Carroll was fired as the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. And this came as a shock to me because I found this out early this afternoon. Pete Carroll was let go as the head coach of the Seahawks after 14 incredible years with the Hawks. He went 137-89. He also won his franchise's only Super Bowl championship back in 2013. Let's look at each year by year for Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll's first year, he won a division title already his first year. He won in 2010 at 7-9. Then 2011 he went 7-9. His first winning season came in 2012 with 11-5. And that was a string of almost 10 years of dominance for the Seahawks. They didn't have a losing record again until 2021. 2012, they were 11-5. 2013, they went to the Super Bowl and won against the Broncos. 2014, they went back to the Super Bowl, but lost to the Patriots. One of the most stupidest goal line calls in NFL history. 2015, they went 10-6. 2017, they went 10-5-1. 2017, they went 9-7. 2018, they went 10-6. 2019, went 11-5. 2020, he went 12-4. And then he suffered his first ever losing season. Well, his first losing season since the 2011 season. He went 7-10, which was Russell Wilson's last season as a Seahawk. Then he got dealt to Denver. Then Geno Smith took over. Geno Smith gave Pete Carroll his final winning season as a head coach. Well, second to last winning season. He went back-to-back 9-8 seasons. But gave Pete Carroll his final playoff appearance in 2022 when they lost to the Seahawks in the wild card round. The 49ers in the wild card round. So, end of an era, but good news for Seahawks fans. Pete Carroll will be with the team. He will be an advisor for the Seahawks. So, he won't be on the sidelines anymore as a head coach, but he'll definitely be an advisory role for the Seahawks. So, kudos to Pete Carroll for an amazing career as a head coach for the Seahawks. Definitely, in my eyes, probably one of the better coaches over the last 20 years. You see, he only has, 3 losing records in 14 years, made the playoffs, and I think at least 12 of the 14 years. So, Pete Carroll, kudos to you. I salute to you, sir, for an amazing career. 137 wins is hard to get in the NFL. So, kudos to you, sir, an amazing career. Next, we're going to talk about the NFL playoffs. Fortunately, my Jaguars missed the playoffs this year because we decided to choke. We was 8-3 going into the matchup against the Cincinnati Bengals. And from there on, we won one game the rest of the season. And that was against the Carolina Panthers. We lost this past Sunday against the Tennessee Titans, which eliminated us from playoff contention. We finished the season 1-5 over the last 6 games and knocked ourselves out of playoffs. Congratulations to the Houston Texans for winning the AFC South under first-year coach DeMeco Ryans and first-year quarterback C.J. Stroud. Good luck y'all match up against the Cleveland Browns this Saturday. Speaking of playoffs, let's go ahead and go over each playoff matchup and my predictions for the first round of the playoffs. We got a lot of good football this weekend, guys, and kind of disappointed that my Jaguars are not there this year, but I told myself I wasn't going to watch no more football this year because my Jaguars are out, but I'm rooting for a couple of these teams to make it to the Super Bowl in Las Vegas. We're going to start off the NFC. We got our first playoff game of the day first playoff game for the NFC will be this Sunday as the 7th-seeded Green Bay Packers will take on the 2-seed Dallas Cowboys, champions of the NFC East. I have the Cowboys upset alert. Yes, the Cowboys are undefeated at home, but the Packers have been sneaky good the last month and a half of the season. Jordan Love, who I thought is my opinion either between him and Baker Mayfield as breakout performances of the year. Nobody thought in the beginning, including myself, that they thought the Green Bay Packers would make the playoffs. But the Packers are in there. They fought their way. They earned their way in there. It's going to be a competitive game. I got the Cowboys upset alert. I think the Packers could win this one 20-17 to advance to take on the top-seeded 49ers in Levi Stadium next week. Rams and Lions is going to be an interesting game. This is going to be Matt Stafford's first game back in Detroit since being since getting traded from the D to LA. This could be kind of a questionable game because the Rams got a great offense. That Lions defense is going to be very tested because Puka Nacua, my goodness, who would have thought this guy would have did what he did this year? Definitely Myers, rookie of the year. I mean, it's a debate between Puka and C.J. Stroud. Either one deserving of the award. Both have breakout rookie years. Both helped lead their team to the playoffs. It's just for the Rams, I'm worried about the secondary because the Lions got a lot of good pass catchers as well. You got Amar St. Brown, you got Jameson Williams, you got some talent on the wide receiver. You got 2 great running backs, and I'm worried about the Rams' run defense because if the game comes down to rushing yards, give me Detroit's backs over the Rams' backs. Even though Kyren Williams has definitely stood out this year as the face of the running back crew for the Rams, I don't see the Rams having enough firepower. I think the Lions defense gonna do enough to slow down Puka and Cooper Kupp. And I think the Lions gonna win a close one over the Rams. The last playoff game for the NFC this weekend is Monday Night Football down there in the 813. The Tampa Bay Bucks, back-to-back winners of the NFC South, hosting the struggling Philadelphia Eagles. Now, this matchup, I got Philly upset too because Philly is banged up. Philly has not won a game in quite a while. And they're coming in as, my opinion, is underdog because the Bucks has played the best brand of football since, I want to say, week 12. Baker Mayfield, in my opinion, is definitely the comeback player of the year. 4,000 passing yards, 28 passing touchdowns for Baker. It's going to be a close game. I think since the lack of a defense, especially on the front for the Eagles, is going to be a problem. It's going to come down to the wire. But I'm going to give the experience factor to the Eagles in a close game. Even though I want Tampa to win, but Jalen Hurts and the guys are going to find a way to get a tough win on the road. I got Philly knocking off Tampa, but closer than a lot of people expect. Now we're going to look at the AFC side of football. Our surprising two teams in the AFC face each other in the first round. The Browns and the Texans down there at NRG Stadium on Saturday afternoon at 4:30. Kudos to DeMeco Ryans. Excellent season. C.J. Stroud, definitely, in my opinion, 1A for the Rookie of the Year. I think Puka Nacua is 1B. But I think the Browns' defense is too much. They're going to make C.J. Stroud pay. And with the lack of a true second receiver, Nico Collins has definitely stepped up since Tate Dale got hurt. But you have no true pass catchers outside Nico Collins. Maybe Dalton Schultz will step up. But the Browns and Joe Flacco will keep riding that momentum and have a date with Baltimore next week. So I got the Browns winning this one. I say by 2 touchdowns over Houston. Miami and KC. This was supposed to be a preview of an AFC Championship game at the beginning of the year. But both teams have struggled down the stretch, especially Kansas City. I don't know how Kansas City got the 3rd seed, but they survived and got the 3rd seed. I got the Chiefs losing this one. And you know it's hard for KC to lose in Arrowhead in the winter. But that Dolphins offense is scary. And that Chiefs offense is hot trash. All the Dolphins got to do is double team Travis Kelce, and they better hope Rashee Rice turn into Jerry Rice, because that's the only way the Chiefs going to beat the Dolphins. I got the Dolphins knock off the Chiefs to advance to the next round. Pittsburgh and Buffalo. Without TJ Watt, I hope Alex Highsmith steps up in that matchup, but it's going to be kind of hard without their leader on defense. I hope Pittsburgh makes it a good game. If they make Josh Allen turn the football over, they have a chance. But if Josh Allen don't turn the football over, this could be a runaway. So in all terms, if the Steelers could make Josh Allen turn the football over, what he has done so many times this year, make Josh Allen a runner instead of a passer this week. Minka Fitzpatrick and Patrick Peterson are going to be very tested this week, and Joey Porter Jr. is going to be tested on his defense this weekend because you got Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, and those guys. We'll see how they do. Bills win by less than 7 at home against Pittsburgh. So those are my predictions for the playoff matches for this weekend's Wild Card Edition. I will give my predictions for the division round next week after this round is over with. But I want to talk about why we're doing this video tonight. It is some sad news in here that probably the greatest college coach of our generation. Now it's debatable because a lot of people was raised around Bobby Bowden, Joe Paterno, some of the older viewers. You have, of course, Bobby Bowden, Joe Paterno. You have forgot the other dude for Alabama before Nick Saban years ago. But Nick Saban, unfortunately, retired effective today, ending a tremendous 17-year career for Nick Saban at Alabama. It was hard. It was hard to see the Bama dynasty finally going down, especially after the loss to Michigan. I figured that there was rumor out there after the loss to Michigan, the Rose Bowl, that Nick Saban was contemplating retiring. But they've been saying Nick Saban contemplating retirement for the last 7 years. But unfortunately, it finally come to reality. Nick Saban finally retired. And I'm going to read you some of his accolades over his 17-year tremendous career. Nick Saban has 292 career wins, which puts him 6th all-time in NCAA history. Nick Saban's been coaching since 1990. So his first job wasn't Bama. His first job was at the University of Toledo. That's right. He was a Rocket for one season. And he went 9-2 in his only year as the Rocket head coach before taking over from Michigan State. And that was his first Power 5 job, coaching in Michigan State when he had players such as Charles Rogers, for those who don't know, one of the biggest busts in NFL history. His first year at Michigan State, he made a bowl game. He went 6-5-1, but lost in the Independence Bowl. He lost his first 3 bowl games as the head coach of Michigan State. Second year, he went 6-6, lost in the Sun Bowl. 7-5, he lost in the Aloha Bowl. Then he went 6-6 again, before he finally broke out in 1999 when he went 9-2 as the head coach of the Spartans. He didn't make a bowl game that year, but he got as high as number 5 in the AP poll. So finally, Nick Saban broke out as a head coach on the Power 5 level. But that was Nick Saban's final season in East Lansing. Now he takes his talents down south to Baton Rouge, where the legend of Nick Saban starts to blossom for our very eyes. In his first year, 2000, for the LSU Tigers, he went 8-4 and got his first career bowl win in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. That season, he finished number 22 in the AP poll. His second year, in 2001, he had his first ever double-digit win season. He went 10-3 in 2001 for the Tigers. They won the Sugar Bowl, and they finished number 7 in the AP Top 25. 2002, he went back to 8-5, kind of a digressing year for the Tigers. They did make the bowl game, lost in the Cotton Bowl. They finished as high as number 10 in the AP polls. They did not finish right at all after that season. This is where Nick Saban won his first ever national championship. Came in the 2003 Sugar Bowl of Oklahoma. They went 13-1. They finished number 2 in the AP Top 25 as Nick Saban won his first and only national championship in LSU. He had one more year at LSU and he went 9-3. He finished 16th in the AP poll. He went as high as 4th in the AP poll, but lost in the Capital One Bowl. That was his final game coaching at LSU. Then, of course, he had to stint in the NFL with the Miami Dolphins for 2 seasons. And after his second year with the Dolphins, second or third year, I think, with the Dolphins, he led the Dolphins to a 10-6 record while he was there. So he had some success with the Dolphins. Of course, introducing the Wildcat with Ricky Williams and Ronnie Brown. The Dolphins was kind of fun to watch when Nick Saban was there, but a lot of total issues happened with Nick Saban with the Dolphins. So he jumped ship back to the SEC, and this is where the legend Nick Saban Alabama starts. Nick Saban was named the Alabama head coach in 2007, and his first year and only year that he ever won less than 11 games in a season was 2007, when he went 7-6 and won his first of many bowl games as a Crimson Tide head coach. He won in the Independence Bowl, and he finished with as high as number 16 AP polls. They went 7-6. In 2008, Nick Saban made his first BCS Bowl as Alabama head coach. He went 12-2, but lost to Utah in the Sugar Bowl. And this is where Nick Saban won his first ever national championship as a Bama head coach. It came in the 09 season where they knocked off Texas in the national championship. They went 14-0 and finished number 1 for the first time in his coaching career in both polls. He won the BCS national championship game over Mack Brown, the Texas Longhorns. 2011, unfortunately, he did not make it back to that championship game. He did, though, win the Capital One Bowl, going 10-3. That's the last time he went 10 wins or less. 2010. 2011, this is where the dominance of Nick Saban started to kick in. First of back-to-back national championships for Nick Saban. 2011, he beat LSU in a rematch, 21-0 in the Sugar Bowl national championship game. And in 2012, he destroyed Notre Dame in the national championship game. In those 2 years, Nick Saban went 25-2 over that span, winning back-to-back BCS national championships. And for a while, Nick Saban went a little drought. For 2 years, Nick Saban did not make the national championship period. In 2013, he lost in the Sugar Bowl. In 2014, he lost in the Sugar Bowl. At that point, Nick Saban was 1-3 in Sugar Bowl matchups. At that point, his only Sugar Bowl win came at 2003 when he won his first ever national championship at LSU. For the first ever college football playoff, unfortunately, they missed it because they played the Sugar Bowl. But in 2015, this is where Bama started making their dominance in the the college football playoff era. In his first year in the playoff era, first year Bama made it, they won the national championship game. They beat Clemson in the 2015 national championship game. 2016, unfortunately, they lost the national championship game. They won the semifinal, but they lost the title game to Clemson in traumatic fashion. Actually, that was Nick Saban's worst bowl loss ever when he lost by 28 to Clemson at Levi Stadium for the national championship. That was Trevor Lawrence's one and only national championship. 2017, they made it back to the playoff, won the semifinal, and won the national championship in 2017. 2018, they made the playoff, made the semifinal, but lost to Georgia in the national championship game. 2019, they missed the playoffs and won the Citrus Bowl over Michigan. He went 11-2. 2020, he made it back to the playoff again, won the semifinal, and won the national championship over Ohio State in 2020. That's when Devontae Smith won the Heisman Trophy in 2021. He made the playoff again, and once again back to the national championship game, but this time he lost again to Georgia. So the second time losing to Georgia. And then he did make the national championship game last year. He beat Kansas State though pretty badly in the Sugar Bowl, going 11-2. And his final ever appearance in the college football playoff, and his last season as head coach, he went 12-2, won the SEC championship over Georgia, and unfortunately losing a heartbreak on a goal line stand to Michigan in the Rose Bowl in the college football playoff semifinal. And as we find out just maybe an hour and a half ago before I started this video, Nick Saban retires as the head coach of the Crimson Tide. And with all that being said, let's look at Nick Saban's numbers as a head coach for each school. Of course, at Toledo, he did 11 games with 9-2. 5 years at Michigan State, he went 34-24. He was 0-3 in bowl games as head of the Spartans. 5 years at LSU, he went 48-16 with a 75% win percentage and his one and only national championship. He went 3-2 in bowl games at LSU. And in 17 remarkable years at Alabama, he went 206-29 with an 87% win percentage and 16-7 in bowl games, including 7 national championships at Alabama, giving him 8 for his coaching career. So, Nick Saban has coached a lot of great players. Nick Saban has coached 45 All-Americans. And I have every last All-American on this list right here, thanks to my friends at sportsreference.com. I'm going to read you from top to bottom. Jonathan Allen, Will Anderson, Javier Arenas, Mark Barron, Antoine Caldwell, HaHa Clinton Dix, Terrence Cody, Landon Collins, Amari Cooper, Landon Dickerson, Micah Fitzpatrick, Reuben Foster, Najee Harris, Derrick Henry, Dante Hightower, Mark Ingram, Jerry Jeudy, Mike Johnson, Barrett Jones, Mac Jones, Ryan Kelly, Cyrus Cornelio, Chad Levilas, Alex Leatherwood, Rolando McClain, DeMarcus Milner, C.J. Mosley, Evan Neal, Reggie Ragland, Josh Reed, Trent Richardson, Ashawn Robinson, Cam Robinson, Andre Smith, Devontae Smith, Marcus Spears, Patrick Surtain II, Tua, Deontay Thompson, Dallas Turner, Chance Warmack, Ben Wilkerson, Jonah Williams, Quinn Williams, and Bryce Young. Nick Saban has won a lot of awards, too, in his coaching career. Nick Saban won the 2003 AP Coach of the Year Award, the 2003 Eddie Robinson Coach of the Year Award, the 03 Paul Bear Bryant Coach of the Year Award, the 03 SEC Coach of the Year Award, the 2008 AP Coach of the Year Award, the 08 Eddie Robinson Coach of the Year Award, the 2008 Home Depot Coach of the Year Award, the 2008 Coach of the Year Award, the 2008 Walter Camp Coach of the Year Award, the 2009 SEC Coach of the Year Award, the 2016 SEC Coach of the Year Award, the 2018 Walter Camp Coach of the Year Award, the 2020 Paul Bear Bryant Coach of the Year Award, and the 2020 SEC Coach of the Year Award. And also, Nick Saban played against a lot of his former associates. Nick Saban, in 31 matchups against former assistants, He's 28-3. Two of those wins came by who else but Kirby Smart. The only other person to beat Nick Saban as a former assistant was Steve Sarkisian this past season when Texas beat Bama in Tuscaloosa. Nick Saban won 11 SEC championships, just 2 behind the great Paul Bear Bryant. So, Nick Saban, we salute you as a coach. You're one of the greats to do it in the last 20 years. Great coach at Bama, one of the best to do it. We salute you as well, sir. Good luck to you in your future endeavors. Nick Saban, you are one of a kind, and we salute you as one of the greats in the game of college football. Guys, I want to thank y'all for tuning to the video, guys. Like and subscribe, y'all new guys. I appreciate everybody who tuned in tonight, guys. We'll see y'all next video, guys. Have a safe night and be blessed.